Lila, and Teeps, and Flora, and me. Rocket.
Boost! Fire!
This has happened before.
Advisor.
Welcome to my continuation of my environmental levels. And in case you don't know what I mean by that, I have a playlist on my channel on highlighting each video game level taking place in different types of settings. Past examples have been summer, Arctic, forests, swamps, igneous, and deserts. Thanks so much for the votes on what my next countdown series should be for 2026. For January, I shall go over my favorite and least favorite sky levels. Whether they take place in heaven or not, these levels must take place within the stratosphere to exosphere, and the majority of that said level shall be included. No exceptions like a battleship or castle unless 75% consist interactions with the sky itself. And those revolving around sky levels such as Biometal, UN Squadron, or Star Fox won't be included. Also beware that pitfalls shall be abused to death on this list. And if you're afraid of heights, you must take precautions. I also happen to adore pink clouds. No lightheadedness nor acrophobia here. Time to get our heads up in the clouds. The sky's the limit after all. Let's touch God's gorgeous graces. Let's start this environmental list from the earliest sky level I can remember. The Sky Castle from Alex Kidd and the Enchanted Castle. Located within the heavens of Janbank, this was where Alex's father was held captive. This fortress might as well go beyond the stratosphere because it was without a doubt a very challenging level all on its own. Especially when it always comes down to the fact that Alex Kidd gets instant kills. It may seem straightforward, but it can even surpass the flying battleship Balrog, since they're both from Sega. It has numerous rooms full of deadly tedious traps, swarms of enemy ambushes, and even the dreary music makes the atmosphere daunting to the eyes and ears. There are many complex switch and block puzzles too, which can just belong to a Zelda game, or at least be its own predecessor. Not to mention, there are those scary bomb chests I hate so freaking much! And if you aren't dedicated, the layout makes this even more tumultuous. The level designs aren't quite as lenient as those in Donkey Kong Country. Just like my earliest discovery involving scorpions, blowfish, and prairie dogs, and one of the first Genesis games next to the OG Sonic, it was the preamble to all sky levels, despite being one of the most difficult. I know this may scar the kids a little, but I kinda wish the clouds would be stormier and gloomier to suit the dire situation. Maybe if there shall be a remake, keep this in mind, Sega. On a more easygoing note, and out of all the levels I'd pick for the summit, cloud cruising was always my default choice. It's fun, relaxing, and just a miniature paradise as you ride the snakes who climb higher and higher into the sky. As Yoshi jumps on one, they have a unique change in flight. The green, blue, white snakes can go either up or down when the passenger jumps onto its body, while the pink, white ones continually ascend, while also switching its diagonal directions left or right, whether on its back or belly. Despite their pleasant pace, you still must be quick traversing amongst the clouds. Otherwise, you'd lose them unless they'd respawn off-screen. There's also a friendly green dragon which functions as sort of an aerial roller coaster. It was just another reminder of my fondness with dragons, and it has no intention on eating the Yoshis if they'd accidentally get in front. Despite its pleasantries, there were some nerve-wracking killjoys. Aside from the usual pitfalls if one should slip up, there were also the bumblebees located in one of the topmost pipes. As a melissophobic, I immediately kept leaving it out of nervousness. Same deal with the bees' nests in occasional locales. Now I know everyone and their brother, especially an unpleasant hotshot, would condemn this level because of the elementary boss Cloud and Candy. But this shows that this game is mostly designed for early childhood. I'd much rather prefer Cloud Cruisin' over the Tall Tower and Inviso any day. Cloud Cruisin' was just an engaging and tranquil environment, and it's the first segment of the summit. As long as you have a great time with a game to help you unwind from life's stressors, no matter how easy it is, it doesn't matter. I'm sure you were expecting a Maverick stage to show up somewhere, and Storm Eagle alone was indeed one of my favorites. One of those reasons was, of course, its elementary and awesome airport stage. You start grounded, but the conveyor belts ascend and take you into the airport where all the action transpires. Kinda like those in the battleship Balrog from Strider, since it's a Capcom property. Perhaps inspired too. It is packed with swarms of enemies, along with pipes and flying platforms, before you make an accelerating climb up a tower which brings him higher into the amazing sky. The mini-boss, Rojumer, is encountered, and its destruction provokes the once docile Storm Eagle, and its impact causes massive damage to Spark Mandrill's power plant. So that's how we always get those irritating constant blackouts. The battle with Storm Eagle was just perfect amongst the open air, and while he seems easy, it's still worth it as your first Maverick and attaining the versatile Storm Tornado. And combined with the epic music along with the exciting airport, it's no wonder Stormhawk has gone leagues better than its egotistical cousin. For a debut Maverick in the Mega Man X series, it ain't too shabby. Well, these were very interesting places. The Cloud Maze and the River of Asteroids combined in EVO take the 7th entry. They're both very tedious in layout, but still interesting nonetheless. As the player explores the renowned age of the dinosaurs, it comes across a conversation involving a father Styracosaurus and a son after being freed from amphibian bullies. The dad murmurs about a secret locale named Mount Brave, which is rumored to evolve a landlubber into a flyer after leaping from its summit. To find out it's true, the explorer does just that, and it's automatically turned into a draconian creature as a reward. However, at the cost of endurance. If the player waits for a mysterious cloud to cover a level on the map as a flyer, you can ascend and enter the cloud maze. The layout's pretty tricky, always relying on memory despite multiple paths, but at least you can find evolutionary crystals along your ascension. Once you've found the secret red crystal transforming you into a powerful dragon and breach upward, you wind up at the River of Asteroids orbiting ancient Earth. There you can explore multiple rock huts encasing more crystals in the Famseas, relative to modern birds and pterosaurs, who all seem to despise landlubbers as lazy, inferior beings. Once every fort has been cleared out and all crystals found, you shall have a better chance against the Tyrannosaurus. Or you can simply just relax and immerse yourself into that astonishing environment. It's almost endless, flying free. Yeah, the River of Asteroids is considered as a space level, but since it's the neighbor to the secret of Cloud Maze, which does remind me of the intruder cloud in the underrated Star Trek film, I'll always consider it to be part of the whole. The sky isn't always the limit here. At first, the Temple of Light from Ocarina of Time was gonna take the 6th rank, but it would have if only Nintendo didn't throw away its potential like they always did with the Sages. So it looks like the most epic airship from the Final Fantasy juggernaut would have to suffice. The legendary Falcon from Final Fantasy VI. Might as well be considered as the Resurrection instead. Here's the lowdown. About a year before Kefka destroyed the world, Setzer challenges his girlfriend Daryl to a race. It was the passion and dream to hit the skies and be the best airship pilot. And while Daryl won, she never returned. The gambler soon found her buried within the destroyed vessel, and in her honor, he rebuilt it only to bury his greatest work along with Daryl's corpse within a creepy infested tomb. After the World of Ruin came to be, Setzer teams up with the surviving Celeste, Sabin, and Edgar to unveil the tragic failure. As soon as that theme, Search for Friends, played, my heart just melted. It was hope. It was the rise of Dr. Cartwright's Phoenix, or the Phoenix itself. It was the light at the end of the bleak tunnel. And it was freedom, since you get to travel to anywhere in the destroyed world. And amongst the bleeding sky, even though I used to think it was a sunset as a kid, while it's classified like a hub world and never changes the secondary theme of the Dark World, it's 5 times better than its predecessor, the Blackjack. It too stores the recovering returners, you rest and switch many equipment and items, and if you're lucky, you might have a slim chance encountering the random doom. But it just feels so damn joyous listening to that epic tune. and just flying freely while taking in the Falcon's glory. The midpoint of this list shall showcase some more iconic levels. One of them that got me very intrigued was the Cloud Carpet circuit from Maximum Velocity. This is really something since the genre and the majority of racetracks aren't very impressive. This one, however, ain't too shabby if you aren't afraid of heights. Aside from the Empyrean colony, this was just one of my favorite venues. It's rare enough that we get to see a race within the foreboding heights, and without any obstruction from space or aircraft. I never liked the idea it's for a whole planet, like Planet White with White Land. The story goes that floating cities were built, though unseen, and the denizens shall harness energy from its cotton clouds in the endless void by optic fiber technology, will also absorb sunlight as an alternative. Both the natural landform Mount Babylon and the floating cities were the main features. It appears as the last track of the Pawn League, the first cup, and the fourth race in the Bishop League, the third cup. Also, Maximum Velocity is one of the very few games that transit during the times of day, from morning to sunset in this case, and only the OG F-Zero can do just that, like with Mute City. With many dash plates, long gaps requiring light hover cars, and some quick turns here and there, I always find Cloud Carpet to be very dazzling, just as much as looking out a real cloud carpet from a jet, which I did so twice in 2 of my Disney World getaways. It's too bad there are only 2 courses for this unique setting. This was a first for F-Zero standards, including one named Icarus Circuit. Alright, a kiss. I wish there was more since Bianca City, Empyrean Colony, and even the pathetic bland Stark Farm. Even the music itself suits this rare venue well. Some may say that this can be a rip-off of Mario Kart, but keep in mind, this is a launch title of the GBA. Nevertheless, I wish more aerial circuits would be highlighted often, especially in F-Zero, thus beginning the top 5. I may be spoiling it here, but since the internet makes them inevitable, might as well just bite the bullet. The final level of the Simpsons game also seems to be the most satirical. We all know God is a dick to the Simpson family and other beings, though more so direct than the petty elder gods. And it's literally no exception here. After all, heaven is mostly the endless sky and clouds anyway. Thanks to Lisa's astonishing telekinesis, which I've forgotten to mention on my telekinetics list, it's so powerful that it's capable of lifting buildings and stacking them up all the way to heaven. In the DS version, which is the game I highly commend, the entire family enters the gates, but not without a few absurd enemies such as William Shakespeare, Ben Franklin, the Tree Killer and Lisa the Tree Hugger, even King and Kang, and the predatory dolphins walking on land, which is my favorite part using the power of Buddha. Further on, it houses many of the deceased saved denizens as well as steaming hot tubs, quite luxurious. especially when it has a skybox with one under construction. Even a hysterical version of DDR right on God's own dance floor! And God summarizes that manipulating the Simpsons was just a mini-game from his own game he invented, Earth. Meaning our own planet is just one of God's virtual interactions. Even our wars, corruptive politics, and brainwashing wokeness. The ending was pathetic, but it's not every game we get to be immersed in God's own realm. They may take place within the skies, but not directly linked to the unreachable. Hell is often playable and is easily swayed into our minds. But this was just a hysterical, crazy, and scarce opportunity that transcends Matt Groening. There was just nowhere to go but up, right? It's so sinful that Nimbus Land is only present on Super Mario RPG and its own Switch remake. This was the most fascinating place I've encountered. Inspired by the lookout as it looks and feels like, including being attached by a vine from Bean Valley instead of the power pole, and above the sacred land of Corrin. This houses the rare Nimbus species, ruled by King and Queen Nimbus, and belonging to their prodigal son, Mallow. And encases the usual inn and item shop, as well as a hot spring that regenerates your HP and FP, courtesy of Barrow Volcano, the royal bus dock, and a studio belonging to Garo, including a golden statue of young Sir Nimbus solidifying Mallow's destiny. It's crazy that Nimbus Land not only is named after the Nimbus cloud, or the flying Nimbus, but the Japanese name refers to marshmallows, which was indeed Mallow's name and misconception. This was just one of the aerial places I wanted to unwind and relax to, away from the battles and stresses, collect your bearings, and be in a calm solitude. No wonder the ground is often considered as chaotic and corrupt. And what's surpassingly terrible is that Nintendo and Squeenix abandoned this location. It's only been exclusively to Mario RPG, much as Mallow and Geno. And lest we forget that music! Nimbus Land was just the getaway, gorgeous place in both games because of its serene, solitary, and chill places that I sometimes wish the real world would have. When it came down to choosing sky levels, there was no possible way I'd even overlook Raiden's Sky Temple. Ever since he was chosen by the Elder Gods as Earthrealm's protector, alongside his brother Fusion, it always became a sanctuary throughout the whole Juggernaut. Except in Dominic's failed experiment, it sucks! It's a multi-story tower located in a desolate location in Earthrealm, somewhere around China where the Shaolin train. In fact, aside from Raiden, this multiple-tier building also houses many dedicated warriors to defend it, as well as Earth's sacred life force, where the Jinsei is in its purest, despite having it being infected once by Shinnok's dark intrusion. It has become a staple in the franchise, as a very fatal combat zone since Deception. Players fight atop the roof where Raiden's Warhammer is stationed, as a lightning rod and providing as a power source. but its stage fatality is so gruesome, it makes me shield my eyes as fighters fall 1,666 feet below, making their bodies bleed profusely and shatter to millions of pieces. That frightening height can make anyone cower, and it almost rivals the hellish descent of Angel Falls. You do not want to mess with Raiden's turf. Wish it happened to the Revenants. Hell, it even consists of legendary portraits of Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and many ancestors, and even the great Kung Lao's prized Jade Jaguar. I wish more would have been explored. It remained as one of my favorite places ever since I began working on my chronology. Always the go-to place for recovery and tranquility. Even as the temporary home for Johnny, Jade, Aiko, Kung Lao, Asgarth, Liu Kang, Fusion, Lord Liu Kang, and even to the demon-turned-goddess of light, Ashra. I even hosted a Coherence concert there, and it often reminds me of the Lookout in DBZ, a location above and overlooking the world, and the Jinsei and other benevolent factors get carried by its wind currents. Despite being a war zone, I wish it'd be an explorative place to see the temple itself, a place to unwind as it's designed to be. If Mortal Kombat can have Tobias back and work well with Spoony Booney and Dickhead Dominic, I hope it shall show more prowess in the future. Alright, we've breezed through 9 aerial destinations within the endless virtual sky. Before we land at number 1, let's make a tangent detour with the honorable and dishonorable mentions. That's right. My most favorable sky level in video games ever is Dr. Robotnik's amazing egg carrier. Ever since its debut in Sonic Adventure, or in my case Adventure DX, it has become irresistible, despite being temporary. Better than any other installment anyway. It might as well function as an aerial vacation spot rather than a large aircraft carrier. And if there are cruises that do just that, they should function the same way rather than just jumbo jets. Of course, it's operated by Robotnik, but he does have some interesting robot servants too, including housing the E100 series. It too is its own hub world, just like the Falcon, and you go through numerous chambers with machines keeping up with janitorial duties. From the outside, it's very hard to miss, as it casts a silhouette up to about 3 megalodons. What's even more neat is it can transform into either a battle-ready or its cruise form. I've never seen that sequence since R-Wing's going to all-range mode. It's equipped with the Egg Cannon, a destructive wide cyan laser capable of mass destruction that can even rival Spike Spiegel's Swordfish, as well as numerous missiles and even a tractor beam. But aside from its size and skill are its many outstanding chambers. The main deck consists of Robotnik's weaponry as well as the skyline view, whether it's gloomy with spotlights soaring across it, or after it's crash land by chaos when it's clear and the lights are inactive. There are also corridors that allow passengers to warp to Station Square or the mystical ruins. There's a convenient monorail that can take you to many locales. There's a radar room along with a crow's nest, and the bridge which can lead to the captain's room if the vessel hasn't shut down. The forward deck contains the same ramps and monorail, but has the entrance to the sky deck. There's also the rear deck, which isn't much, but if already transformed, it can lead to the captain's area. Where passengers can actually switch between both states. But the best parts are the study, the playroom, and especially the luxurious massive swimming pool. I can picture myself lounging there for minutes on end, while the hall and the prison were so like the decks. But whether in a gloomy, dreary sky or the cerulean heavens, the exploration and immersion just make it hard to leave. It always makes me wish that such a thing would actually exist. Minus the intense weaponry, unless for emergencies only. It's no question it's like the Disney Wonder and the Air Carrier combined. And no matter when in the game you're in, it's often accessible, and it's just a pivotal hub world, sky level, and even a method of transportation if I should make a list of that in the distant future. I kinda wish this can be one of Heaven's own. I'm the Ekron Rider, and the Egg Carrier shall always remain as my all-time favorite and most iconic sky level ever concocted. Praise to you, Sega and Sonic team. It's no wonder that Rocket and Batch 89 want to explore the blue endless sky. It represents freedom and serenity. And I hope if I'm good enough, I shall embrace the unknowable, unreachable heavens too.